Hi, my name is Kristen Lindquist, and I wanted to share with you my very favorite place to visit or go on vacation. It's the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness, and for the acronym, it's BWCAW, and you can look it up just by the acronym and it'll appear for you. To me, it's the most beautiful place in the world. In the first picture, you're going to see the lake with the island on it with a campfire all lit up, and then extending up into the sky or down towards the water is the aurora borealis, and that is just beautiful. The northern lights are visible up there year-round, always when it's real dark and the moon's not very bright, but it's easier to see in the fall and in the winter, but you can see them year-round, and it's always gorgeous reflecting off the lakes. And then in the next slide, you can see a picture coming from a canoe going down a lake. And it's very serene and quiet and beautiful. When you go to the Boundary Waters, everything you bring, you pack on your back, you take it in, and you take it all back out. So they keep the area pristine and beautiful. You go back up there and you go backpacking and you canoe and you portage your canoe over your head and you bring it on the trails and routes from one lake or stream to another, and it's incredible. The Boundary Water extends 150 miles of the United States and Canadian border through the Arrowhead region. It attracts over 250,000 people a year, and you have to have a permit to get in, so they limit it only to 250,000 people a year. The area was set aside in 1926 to preserve its primitive character and just to keep its beauty uninhabited by people. In 1964, it officially became part of the National Wilderness. And when that happened, it became protected. There are laws and lots of restrictions around that area just to keep it pristine so we can enjoy it for years and years to come. The wilderness includes the highest peak in Minnesota, called Eagle Mountain, and it's only 2,301 feet, which doesn't seem that tall when we're in California, but when you're in Minnesota, it has a lot of hilly terrain, but it doesn't really have large mountains. And the Boundary Waters Canoe Area is approximately 1.1 million acres, and that is a very large, expansive area. And within the borders of the BWCAW, Boundary Waters Canoe Area, there's over 1,100 lakes and 100 miles of rivers and streams. And that seems like a lot, but if you look at Minnesota, it's known as having over 10,000 lakes. So there's a lot of them up there, and they're all together and attached. It contains no more than 2,000 campsites, or more than, 2,000 campsites, 1,200 miles of canoe routes, and 12 different hiking trails. It's popular for canoeing, canoe touring, fishing, backpacking, and dog sledding. We have been up there dog sledding in the winter, and we've gone on the canoeing trip in the summer with friends that knew the area, because I am not very well versed in it, so they kind of guided us and showed us how to do it. But if I ever went up there, I'd recommend the canoe touring, because you can go up to that area and get a tour set up, and your tour guide will show you how to navigate the waters and get you places safely and take you to the very interesting sites so you can enjoy it. One very interesting picture I found that I love is how it's the historic homeland of the Ojibwe people, and they traveled the waterways of the canoes made of birch bark. Sometimes we forget about some of the areas having pictographs and petroglyphs on the walls. Like, I forget about that up there. I always think of it in Arizona and places like that. But also in the Boundary Waters, there's hundreds of them that you're able to see, and they're on the rock ledges and the walls, and they're from the Ojibwe people telling their stories. Here's some more beautiful views. There is a lot of rain up there. We have beautiful waterfalls. There's waterfalls all over, of varying sizes. Some of them are bigger and some of them are smaller. And when you're up there, the smaller ones you can kind of see as you're going on your canoe, and you have your maps that show you where everything is that you follow. And these are just gorgeous, and they're always running with water because we do get so much rain in that area. And a picture, this is just one of the lakes with a rainbow, and they do get a nice amount of rain, not a lot like Seattle, but they get enough rain to keep the area beautiful. And there's also a lot of sun out there too. And often when we go up and visit, we see a lot of rainbows. Like every time it rains, I think you see a rainbow, especially by the lake and reflecting off the lake. So it's nice and beautiful and vivid with colors. There's a lot of wild animals up there in the Boundary Waters, and it is gorgeous. This is pictures that campers have taken. I didn't take these pictures, but here's a moose that they kind of ran into as they were canoeing. And you're going to see deer and moose and beavers and otters and bears and deer, and they're just everywhere. And since there's no roads there and you're going everywhere on feet, you can run into these animals and you just are very careful. You enjoy their beauty, snap a photo, and get out of there. And then the other picture on the other side is what happens so often is see the little baby bear? Well, you definitely want to get out of there because that bear has got into your stuff. But they're looking around to see what they can get into, and if you ever leave your stuff unattended, that's not good. If you're not currently using it, you want to hang it really high in a tree so a bear can't get it. And usually where there's a bear cub, there's a mom, so you kind of want to get out of that area. And there's a lot of black bears in that region. I just wanted to show you a picture of a map. Here's just a little visual of the Trout Lake route map for entry point 1. There's 8 entry points going to the Boundary Waters. You can see the campsites are little triangles, and the black lines are the portage routes. And just to let you know, where you get in and you get a permit at that yellow circle, that's where you're able to start accessing the Boundary Waters to that lake. And they only give 14 permits available at that entry point per day. And see, look at all those campsites, and there's over 2,000. To be honest, when I'm up there, I run into maybe 1 or 2 people a day. The area is so big, and there's so many different routes to go. It's not like you're constantly running into people, so it's very relaxing and serene. It's a very remote and rugged place. There are latrines or bathrooms, and this is a picture of one of the bathrooms that they have there. They are on the mainlands, they're not on the islands, and they encourage you, if you need to go number 2, you need to go back to the mainland, find a latrine. If you can't, you should dig a hole and bury it deep enough into the ground, and then you cover it up. So be very diligent and cautious about that when you do that, but I thought that was a really fun picture to give you a feel of what you're going to experience when you're out there. I was not prepared myself. I didn't realize. I thought there'd be outhouses with doors, so it was kind of an interesting experience. Just a few helpful hints to help you, things that I've learned along the way. And one of the first things they tell you when you actually read the guidebooks for the Boundary Waters, it says expect and plan for the worst and hope for the best. And most of all, learn to laugh at yourself. Because you're going to find yourself in situations and predicaments that are probably the most fun you've had, or the scariest, or the most frustrating, and you get through it, and you enjoy it, and you have a great time. And another hint was to bring an axe. I did not realize that you had to cut your own firewood while you were there. You just don't haul it in. You have to cut it because you're carrying everything that you can on your back. There's no garbage cans. There's, no wood to buy. There's no stores, so you have to bring an axe and, of course, a shovel in case you need to bury anything that you might need to bury in terms of if you have a little bathroom stop. And really important, hang your food where a bear won't expect it. I remembered one night we got up and we hung it, and I was in college. I was about 21 when this happened. And we hung it, but we didn't quite hang it high enough, and the bear could just jump up and reach it, and it kept batting at our cooler, and all we could think of is, oh no, we're stuck out here, and if he gets our food, we're in trouble. So, and here's a little picture on the other side of a bear getting into a cooler, and looks like he's getting a crushed soda. And so really important, hang the food. And you don't really want to hang it like right over your tent. You want to hang it a little further apart so the bear is not going to be right over by your tent as he's attempting to get the food. And if you hang it a little away from your campsite, he might not expect it. And if everything is sealed, like you double bag your food so the smells don't come out, you close your cooler to really help keep the smells in, it's easier. The bears don't smell it as easy. Something very important, bring extra food just in case. And when I say just in case, it could be just in case you get lost and takes a little longer to get out of there. Maybe you sprain an ankle and you walk a little slower to get out of there, or you extend your stay. You just want to stay another day or two. But always bring extra food, and just in case the bear gets to it. Really, really important since there's no stores out there. And I think the most important thing is use a water filter and make sure to collect water in areas that are deeper than 3 feet and not near the beaver pond. And I will say from experience, we forgot the water filters when we got up there, and we just had to drink the water. And I didn't even realize we had to, go even 3 feet down, go further than 3 feet. And it was, let's just say, in Mexico, you get Montezuma's Revenge. Up in the Boundary Waters, you get something called beaver fever. And you're pretty sick for about a week after you get back. So, very important, bring your water filters. Anyway, I just wanted to share with you one of my favorite places I've been to, and just let you know more about it. And if you're ever interested in going, a few tips and a few views and some information that would help you enjoy it just like I did. Thank you so much for listening.